Hi, and welcome to another edition of Bauer Business Bites. My name is David Tighe, the Managing Director of Bauer Media here in Northern Ireland. And each week we look at some of the best and brightest brains in business and we gain some insight into their particular business. And this week I'm really pleased to welcome the Chief Executive of Blk Box Fitness. That's Greg Bradley. Greg, you're welcome to Business Bites.
Well, thank you very much, David. I'm not sure I'm the brightest brain, but yeah, honored to be on the show this morning.
Well, I tell you something, you've got a great success story there at Blk Box Fitness, based down in the Titanic Quarter, but your reach goes much further than that. So just give us a potted history of the business from when it started to today. Just walk us through it.
Yeah, it's actually this month is our ninth birthday. I started the company after I graduated from university in 2012. We design, manufacture, and supply strength and conditioning equipment. And some of the main sectors we work, home gyms obviously has been a popular market for us in the past 12 months. Schools, universities, elite sport, commercial gym chains, independents. Probably the most exciting thing, just the sheer breadth of different sectors we get to work with. It's a very rewarding industry to be in as well.
Yeah, well, it is a success story. There's no doubt about that over the years. But I suppose one of the questions that comes to mind at the minute is that you supply pretty high level gym equipment to some of the biggest sporting bodies and also to large gyms, not only in Northern Ireland but further afield as well. Both of those sectors have been pretty heavily impacted in the last 12 months. So how have you managed to cope with that? What changes have you made, or have you had to adapt your business at all?
Yeah, we definitely had to make a massive pivot in March. I guess if I cast back to this time last year, I think like any business, we were very fearful. We didn't know if we were going to be able to continue to trade, if we were going to need to look at redundancies. And thankfully, we have been one of the more fortunate industries to be in. We've been able to, as a manufacturer, continue to trade. Um, and we did grow the business by about 70%, which pre-COVID is kind of where we wanted to be. Historically, we've always grew somewhere between 50 to 100%, but yeah, pre-pandemic, and I know everyone's got COVID fatigue at this stage, but before the pandemic, our sales were predominantly B2B, focused on commercial gym chains, elite sport, etc. And a lot of those sales fell off the edge of a cliff. So we had to then focus on e-commerce, selling direct to consumer, which we're living in the Amazon effect, where people want products in 2-3 days, and normally our lead time was 2 to 3 weeks, if not longer. And then just the sheer demand, actually crept up to 6-8 weeks. So then we had to invest a lot in our machinery, infrastructure, expand the headquarters, hire 29 new team members last year. Probably hired something similar this year as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty spectacular story, and of course, the ability to be agile in these times is key, because standing still, I don't think, is going to get anyone anywhere. So I've read stories about about gyms. You can tell probably that I read stories about gyms rather than go to gyms. But I've been reading stories about how gyms and things moved outside a lot more, perhaps further afield. I read something about Dubai. Is that what's happening now?
Yeah, outdoor fitness definitely has got a an increase in demand. We've done some projects with the Jumeirah Beach Hotel in Dubai. We've also doing an outdoor shipping container for Adidas headquarters in Germany. We're actually setting one up at our own headquarters. So it is, yeah, quite popular, and I think there will be an increase. But I'm also optimistic that the industry is going to bounce back. Pure Gym's one of our biggest customers, and like us, they're very optimistic. I think one of the good things with the pandemic is that it's made people more aware of the importance of their health, and I feel feel home fitness is here to stay, but like the office, I think people are wanting to get back to the office, maybe not 5 days per week, but I think it's going to be a hybrid solution.
Yeah. So talking about looking forward, you've probably then had an extra issue to deal with Brexit. Has that affected your business at all?
Yeah, I guess pre-Brexit we weren't that optimistic. It's not something we wanted to do. We do sell quite a lot Europe and globally. So initially there was a little bit more friction. Some of our suppliers in the UK are slow or unwilling to supply us, but we're quite optimistic about it. It could actually be a bit of a competitive advantage for Northern Irish companies, and we're hoping that the government and the executive can get their heads together and turn this into a competitive advantage. We have, as a bit of a feasibility study and contingency plan, we have earmarked to expand into Holland if Brexit doesn't work in our favour. But our preference would be to keep our headquarters in Belfast. But yeah, hopefully we won't have to expand into Holland.
So, with the likes of the gyms and the like, have you got a message? You obviously talking to lots of people in that industry, or they're dependent on you. You're dependent on them. Can you see a way forward? Have you got a message for the executive around that kind of area?
Yeah, no, I think, look, the past obviously plays an important part. I'm not saying to forget it, but I think we need to look into the future, and we want the country to prosper. There's a lot of industries, tourism, hospitality, that have had a very tough 12 months. And I feel that if we could, use this to our advantage, it can help everyone. Have a much better future. So hopefully, yeah, that's if everyone could be optimistic about it.
Yeah, I mean, have you? There are plenty of agencies that are designed to help businesses. Have you had help from some of those government agencies in your business? And if so, how beneficial was it?
Yeah, we're a client of Invest NI and have been for quite some time. They are very supportive. It does take a little bit of time. You have to find product market fit, get a bit of traction in the market, start to expand, create jobs, and it helps if you manufacture as well. So Invest have been supportive. Some of the local councils as well have been. My advice to people would be to, the cheapest source of money you can get is sales. And I think if you get a little bit too obsessed with trying to find grants and support, etc., it can take your eye off the ball. Definitely, by all means, it helps, and these agencies are supportive. But yeah, we try to just focus on growing the business as much as we can, and anything extra we get an added bonus.
Yeah, so the next 12 months or the next 18 months, the future for the business, it's looking fairly strong from what you've described. Have you any specific plans outside of what we've spoken about that you'd like to bring us up to date with? Where are you going next?
Yeah, no, we just want to keep, hopefully the gyms are going to bounce back, pure gym, sport and industry as well. We want to keep growing our e-commerce. We are hiring, as I say, another 20 to 30 people currently. Our headcount is around 80 at the minute. We'll hopefully get that up to 150 in the next 1 to 2 years. And then we're going to focus on expanding into Europe and then potentially America in 2 to 3 years' time.
Well, there's absolutely no stopping you, Greg, and we wish you the very best of luck with your plans for the future. And to all at Blk Box Fitness, continued success. Thanks for being our guest this week on Business Bite. It's been great to hear your story.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. And yeah, we'll hopefully catch up again soon.
Thanks, Greg.